Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life. My name is Kyle Case, and I'll be your host on this amazing journey as we attempt to help you get the most out of your life. Joining me in the studio today is my co-pilot, Jeff Harding. Jeff, how's it going today?
I'm doing wonderful, Kyle. How are you?
I'm good. I'm
feeling very patriotic this month. It's July, and we've just celebrated the 4th of July. We had the fireworks. I'm feeling very patriotic this month.
Well, good. I'm glad that you're feeling
I'm not
patriotic.
Wearing red and white, but I am wearing blue.
Indeed you are. So today, Jeff, I want to talk about something that we rarely think about unless there's a problem, which is...
Our marriage?
No, but that's often the case with many things. But no, we're not going to talk about marriage today. Our feet.
You know, I actually think about my feet a lot.
Oh, you do? Because do you have problems?
Well, I have small feet. I'm over 6 foot, and my feet are size 10.
Like tipping over all the time.
Well, a lot of pressure.
The foundation's not quite there.
I do not have a firm foundation, no. So I have a lot of pain in my feet if I don't take good care of them.
Okay, so there you have a problem, so that they're on your mind. If you don't stub your toe or have some kind of issue,
you don't think about
most of us don't think about.
I know
feet,
regular
right?
people don't, but us foot challenged,
us small-footed people,
foot challenged, yes,
we think about it all the time. Well, I think it's like many things; it's just something that we take for granted, and we just assume that our feet are going to get us where we want to go.
That's right.
But sometimes issues come up, right?
Sometimes they won't.
Disease, years of wear and tear, not being big enough for your body.
Right. Having those little tiny feet.
Shoes can be problems.
Oh, yeah.
So, a lot of things can lead to problems. So I want to talk about just a couple of things, a few things that we should be aware of, or maybe even things that we could do to prevent foot problems, to make sure that we have happy feet.
Happy feet.
Happy feet.
You know, they ought to make a movie called Happy Feet.
They should. And I think I'm just pulling an idea out of the air. Maybe they could feature dancing penguins.
There you go.
What do you think?
I think
it might work. I think it might work. Well, the first thing, improving the circulation of blood to your feet can help prevent problems. That makes sense.
It does, but how do you do that?
Okay, well, let's talk about why you might have less circulation to start with. First of all, exposure to cold temperatures or water, pressure from shoes, long periods of sitting, smoking can reduce circulation in your feet.
Sure.
Even sitting with your legs crossed or wearing tight socks can all reduce circulation in your feet.
All of them make very perfect sense.
So things that you can do to help improve circulation: raise your feet, standing up and stretching, walking, and other forms of exercise. They all promote good circulation. Here's one for your wife.
My wife.
So, make sure you take this home with you.
I'll write it down.
Because your feet are a problem.
Right.
Yeah, so a gentle massage.
Ain't going to happen.
It's just not going to happen. Gentle massage or warm foot baths can also help increase circulation. So, a few things to think about. Something as simple as wearing comfortable shoes that fit well can prevent foot ailments. Did you know, for example, that your feet widen, or at least can widen with age?
Sure.
I didn't realize that. I guess your nose, your ears, and your feet never stop.
The three things you really don't want to get any bigger.
They never stop growing.
I mean, I could get taller. I wouldn't care if I got taller as I got older.
Would be fine. Yeah. Anyway, it's a good idea to always have your feet measured before you buy shoes. The upper part of the shoe should be made of some sort of soft, flexible material that matches the shape of your foot. Shoes that are made of leather can reduce the possibility of skin irritations, and soles should provide solid footing and not be slippery.
Right.
Because there could be falls and things associated there. Thick soles lessen pressure when walking on hard surfaces, and low-heeled shoes are not only more comfortable, but they're safer and they're less damaging than high-heeled shoes.
That's right. Your legs might not look as good in it. Well, their legs may not look as good in it, because I don't ever wear high heels, but they're better for you.
I've seen you wear high... No, I'm just kidding. I've never seen that. Okay, a couple of other things. We're moving right along.
Yes, we are.
Fungal and bacterial conditions, including athlete's foot. That occurs when your feet are usually enclosed in a dark, damp, and warm environment.
Like shoes.
So these infections, they cause redness, blisters, peeling, and itching. And if you don't treat it right away, it can be a real problem and very hard to get rid of.
I've suffered with that most of my life.
So to prevent these conditions, keep your feet, especially the area between your toes, clean and dry. And here's the fun part. You should go barefoot whenever you can.
You know, that would be great, except that I have arch problems. So
do you?
So if you're barefoot, then it creates a whole set of problems.
You have foot problems.
I do.
I didn't know this about you.
Yeah, well, I don't often talk about my feet. They're an embarrassment to the family.
Well, so let's bring it up on radio.
Oh, yes, let's do. We'll just share it to the world.
All right, last thing. This is actually one that I've kind of dealt with, and I'm glad I'm not dealing with it anymore. ingrown toenails.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, I had about 4 years of my life where I just could not get it fixed. I'd cut it out, it'd come back. I'd get it cut out, it'd come back. It was just a real problem. But ingrown toenail, of course, occurs when a piece of nail breaks through the skin.
Right.
Causes a lot of irritation. It's usually caused by improperly trimming your nails, and that was what caused mine.
You're cutting around the corner instead of going
Yeah,
straight
or I
across.
didn't even get a rounded corner. I just slipped with my tripping, and it just went at a real deep angle. And the toenail grew into my toe, and it was horrible. But podiatrist or a doctor can remove the part of the nail that was cutting into the skin, and that is what they did to me many times. But it allows for the area to heal, and ingrown toenails can usually be avoided again by cutting the toenail straight across and level with the top of the toe. Right. So that's the way to do it.
Now, I've had two brothers that have had their big toenails removed because of chronic problems with their. So they have ugly toes and flip-flops, but
I had my younger brother had all of his removed as well. He was a wrestler and had constant problems with his
toenails.
Lots of
pressure, lots of odd pressures on your feet.
Anyway, something to think about. Feet are important.
Well, I think that we have maybe a life coach for a guest who can tell us.
I was wondering how we were going to segue into our guest because we're really going to shift gears here a little bit. But
how we can take better care of our feet in our life.
I'm excited to have our guest today. Jennifer Morton is a life coach. She's graduated from Texas A&M, and she focuses on helping people find peace on their journey to good health, which seems like a perfect perfect segue, and also a perfect guest for us to have.
How else can you be happy without happy feet?
Absolutely. There we found it. Now we found it. Jennifer,
perfect segue.
Welcome, and thank you for being on the show with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So, any feet problems that you'd like to disclose?
Oddly enough, yes.
Oh, okay, okay.
I went on a hike in northern Utah a couple of weeks ago, and I wore
The
flat
Birkenstock?
shoes.
Oh, just flats.
Yeah, they were Nike Airs, and they didn't have a good arch in them at all. And it was a 6-mile hike, and I thought it would be flat, but it was actually.
I found that hikes almost never are.
Yeah, they lie.
Yeah.
They lied on.
It wouldn't be a hike, otherwise it's a walk. If it's flat, it's a walk, folks.
Okay.
If it's going to be a hike, there's got to be a hill in there, up or down, one way or the other. Usually, if there's one, there is the other because you go in and out. But
Well, it was funny because when it described the hike online, it basically said it was a sandy hike. And being here in southern Utah, a sandy hike means something like kind of being out in the Sahara to us. I mean, we have hikes like that.
Lots of sand, sand coming out.
Well,
your
this
ears
was like kind of a gravelly or like almost like a farm road, just unpaved, but it had a little sand on the top. So I thought, who cares? It's not that big. Then they didn't mention anything about elevation gain. And when I got done after the 6 miles, I had 120 flights of stairs on my Fitbit.
Oh my goodness.
So you did go up some elevation.
Yeah, I blew my feet out. So my arches have been hurting all week. So it was fun. When you guys started talking about feet, I thought, how
your
funny.
ears
how
perked up.
ironic.
I understand the feet issue.
So you can officially say that you are in need of a foot massage, that will help the circulation.
Absolutely.
And you should play that
You can
card
ask my wife, but she'll tell you no too.
I see
wherever
3
you
really
can.
strong guys right here that could help me out with that. I wouldn't do that to you, but yeah.
Well, wonderful, Jennifer. Again, thank you for being with us today. I want to talk a little bit about what it is that you do. The work that you perform. It's called a life coach. I know you mentioned off the air you're a little uncomfortable with that title, but tell us a little bit about what you do and how it might help people.
Yeah, I think the term life coach, it just elicits weird feelings in people mostly. I mean, really what I do is I kind of stand on the sidelines of somebody's life and help them think through the plays they're going to run next. I mean, the best way to think about it is...
That's what a coach does. It stands on the sidelines and tells you what
So
play to
instead
run
of a
next.
football coach, I'm kind of a life coach.
Right.
So it makes sense that way. So, I root somebody on. I, help them with course corrections when they need it.
So you're kind of a cheerleader too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Excellent.
I do more, I think cheerleading for cheerleading's sake doesn't help much.
No.
I'm from Texas, so I'm a straight shooter, and I kind of call it like I see it. So, I need somebody. My coach is really strong with helping me see what I need to see. So I prefer to take that route with clients too.
Well, that makes sense.
I feel like as hard as it might be, the tough love element of it, that's the way to be, right?
Yeah.
If you can't face your problems, then you're really not going to be able to solve them.
Yeah, and I think we all have a blind spot to a lot of parts of our own lives.
You bet.
And I think sometimes getting an outside opinion from somebody who cares about you but doesn't care about the outcome is really important. I tell my clients all day long, I don't care if you choose A or B, but you better understand why you're choosing it for yourself.
A coworker and I were talking just before coming over here about just in life. He was talking about a gal that he worked with that had a boyfriend that everybody could tell was bad for her, but she was so much in the middle of things she couldn't even see for herself.
Couldn't tell
how bad he was for her. And so it's kind of that same thing where you just kind of need somebody to say, no, wait a minute. Can you see that this is what's probably going to happen? You can choose what you want, but this is probably what's going to happen.
Yeah, the approach I take with relationships is different in the sense that I usually don't work with people on their external relationships. I usually work with people on their relationships with themselves.
Ah, okay.
So I would work with her on how she sees herself and what's important to her in her world. And then once she gets a better sense of that, she'll probably make a good decision about what to do with the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes perfect sense.
Because everybody comes in and just wants to say somebody's wrong or bad, and we rebel against it.
Sure. So I'm curious, Jennifer, how does one become a life coach, and how did you end up on this path yourself?
Well, I started out with a degree in economics and as a financial planner right out of college.
Okay.
So I took the most indirect path imaginable to this. My first years as a financial planner, I was better at teaching people things than figuring out the direction of a stock, and I liked it better. So the companies I worked for, Charles Schwab in particular, they pulled me into the training department to get me to teach other people how to do what I was doing. And then I had a career progression through multiple companies that ended up in organizational development, leadership development. A lot of it is coaching. Helping an employee be better at what they do, helping managers be better at what they do, helping leaders be better. So I have a pretty long corporate coaching role that was just by experience. In my last position, I was the director of learning for a Fortune 19 company, and my boss was trying to talk me into a project that I did not want to do, and it was out of my scope, and she said that she would do anything to get me to do it. And I just said, well, then pay for my life coach training. And she said, okay. So I went to life coach school.
Interesting negotiation.
Yeah, I won that one. It was awesome. And the project was hard, but it was good. I went through Coaches Training Institute, and it's basically a program where you spend 3 days in a location for over 5 weeks. So basically, you end up with about 200 hours of training.
Oh, wow.
And from there,
it's extensive.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive. From there, you can go through a certification process. I disagreed with a couple of the foundations of the certification, so I chose not to go that route, and have developed my own style over the last 8 years. I probably coached over 6,000 clients from all over the world.
Wow.
And I just help people figure out where they've got holes, what they're trying to accomplish. And I try not to use a lot of willpower and motivation, because I think we all know that fails us pretty quickly. We try to use more process-oriented stuff. So figuring out where is the kink in your process and then doing the work there. So your process runs effectively.
Yeah.
I have a pretty big background in Lean Six Sigma and some other process methodologies. So I brought that to coaching.
To life coaching. So in indirect as the route may be, it sounds like you found the right place.
Yeah, I definitely did. I still can't believe I'm here, but I've been here for so long, I can't believe being anywhere else.
Yeah.
I really love it.
We are listening to the Huntsman World Senior Games Active Life, and we are visiting with life coach Jennifer Morton. She's talking about the route that she actually undertook to become a life coach and what that means.
Now, I would like to maybe switch directions a little bit. You've talked about how you got there, but what kind of people do you coach? Do you coach the ones who are downtrodden, the ones who have no direction in life? Who is it that you look for, or who is it that you normally coach, and how do you determine what are the kinks in their life plan?
Well, I'm affiliated with a fitness resort here in St. George, Utah, and so a good 50% of my clients come through there. And so that target market is basically people that are working to improve their health.
Okay.
And more specifically, their weight. So,
which is such a huge aspect of health. It's not the only aspect, and sometimes I think we get caught up in that part of it. But it's a pretty important one.
it really is, and I see the most common thing I'm seeing right now is everybody wanting to lose weight to get healthier, when really you have to get healthier to lose weight. I mean, weight's a function of your body not getting what it needs, and it can either be through fitness, not getting enough movement. It can be through nutrition, not getting the right minerals and
Vitamins
and macronutrients and all that. And it can also be not having the right relationship with yourself as terms of emotional management.
Mental and emotional as well.
Yeah, so when I work with weight clients, the first hurdle I have with them is getting them to understand that their weight is not their problem, it's their result. And if you realize that your weight is a result, then you can actually go back and look for the right solutions to the problems.
Yeah, well,
It's so much easier to be able to blame it on the weight.
It
I
is.
blame it on my weight. It's the weight's fault.
And growing up, I was really active growing up. I played sports all year round, and my weight was in check as a kid because, everything I took in, I got out, and it was just easy. When I went into college, I wasn't good enough to play sports, and so, life happened, and I ended up with an extra 80 pounds on me for about 15 years. And those are hard years to have extra weight between 20 and 35 because there's a lot of things that you want to have happen. And if you feel like you can't do them because of your weight, you get pulled off. And I actually came to the resort that I work at for a week and got reintroduced to fitness. And it really changed my life. I mean, I really feel like being active isn't just something that you say you do. It's kind of part of who you are. And it's in all of us, even if we're having an inactive time.
So you came as a client looking for some help to just kind of get things back in check and get under control.
Yep.
And fell in love with the place. And
I did. I was one of those people that accidentally moved to St. George. Yeah. There's a crew of us. We're
we
weird.
Hear that often. We do hear that often. Yeah.
Yeah. So for me, it was, I didn't believe that I could be an athlete again. And I didn't know that athlete isn't an actual thing. It's a state of mind, and when I started to lower my expectations of myself, I actually started to far exceed what I could do. For example, when I was doing triathlons, I always tried to beat my fastest mile time. Well, I ran that mile in 6th grade. So asking a 41-year-old body to perform like that to 6
beat that time.
And I think we do that to ourselves a lot. We hold ourselves up to the best version of ourselves, and a lot of times we can't compete because we have different circumstances. So for me, it's about getting my clients out having fun again, and a lot of times that is active.
Well, it usually is, and it also it changes your mental process.
It absolutely does.
Your brain thinks differently.
So how does someone get started? I mean, I think we're on the same page here. We want the result and to understand what a result is and so forth. But how does one take that first step?
Are you talking about weight or fitness?
Well, let's talk about fitness, because I think that's weight is the product of fitness as you mentioned. So how would one get going there?
Well, I think that every bit of research that's ever been done on the stickiness of exercise for somebody really comes down to the fact that they do what they like. So if you've been out running and you hate running, I would say let's not start there. Ever, right?
But everyone says that's the best way, right?
That's really
I saw all these running shoe commercials and they said...
And they all look so happy running.
That's the worst part is I think all of us are constantly combing the internet and social media trying to find the top 5 tips for everything. And that's just what worked for somebody. My clients that are the most effective in their own lives have found what works for them. So I have a commitment to myself. It's really pretty here at Sunset. It's beautiful out here, actually. So, I make a commitment to myself to kind of go out for a walk every day at sunset to just take a look around and remember that the world's bigger than my little land. And my agreement with myself is that I at least walk around the block. And really, at the end of the day, if I'm feeling good, I walk a lot farther.
Right.
And then if I'm not feeling good, I walk around the block, but I at least get to check it off the box. So when somebody start trying to get started, I would say smaller is always better than bigger. Everybody, we'll have clients. I'll have a client that'll come in and say, I haven't done anything in 10 years, but I'm going to set a goal to do an Ironman. And that's a long way from where they're at.
That's like saying, I'm going to climb Kilimanjaro.
Yeah.
I'm going to go to the top of the mountain.
I have a couple of clients that set that as a goal a couple years ago, and I was just like, oh, can we just start around the block?
Let me take you to the Pine Valleys and see if you can get to the top of the Whiffle Valley.
Yeah. So I think one of the best things that's going right now are all these fitness trackers with the step counters.
Yeah.
I really think that is a good place to start because, once you put one of these on, I've got my Fitbit on right now, once I figured out that I'm only taking about 5,000 steps a day when the average is, they want people to be taking 1,000.
Yeah.
Right?
10,000.
Or 10,000, excuse me. Once I realized I was at 5,000, I realized I was underactive because in my mind, I thought I didn't know I was.
Yeah.
So now my goal is to try to get towards 10,000. And some days I get 8 and some days I get 12. And I just try to average it out over time. And I think that's a good way to get started.
But even just knowing that helps you be realistic, and it offers you a starting point from where you can build. But to think, I'm going to hit that Ironman when you're walking 3,000 steps a day can be a little defeating. It seems like
it can be, and I've definitely seen people do it. I mean, we've definitely seen people pick a crazy goal and go out and nail it.
Yeah,
and those are the articles that are featured. But what's not featured are all the people that said it and didn't.
Right.
So if you need something that big, go ahead. But I think for the majority of us, we need some data to get started. What are we actually doing today? And a fitness tracker can be a great place to start. And this is a controversial topic, for sure. But Pokemon Go is
You've
really
got to catch them all.
Yeah, it's really changing. I have a couple of people in my neighborhood that are well into their 60s that are running around with their grandkids
Playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah, because the Pokestops are at parks and public interest places, and I don't really care what my client does to get moving or active. I just care that they do. So. My mom said something hysterical. She said, all these people playing Pokemon Go is ridiculous. And then I look over and she's been playing Candy Crush for 2 hours. And I'm like,
same thing.
Come on. It doesn't have to be your cup of tea. But at the end of the day, you do have to find something that you like that gets you moving.
Absolutely. Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us. That's all the time that we've got, but great advice, and we appreciate you being here with us. Jeff, it's time to register for the Huntsman World Senior Games.
It definitely is.
July is almost over, and if you're interested in saving any money at all, and who isn't interested in saving some money, now is the time to register. You can register online at www.seniorgames.net, but hurry, because the sports, some are closed and others are getting close to closing.
They are.
In fact, we have almost 7,500 total athletes that have registered for the games already. So now is the time. Seniorgames.net is the place to do it. The 2016 dates for the Huntsman World Senior Games are October 3rd through the 15th. And make plans to participate with us this year because it is our
30th anniversary.
30th anniversary year. If you're interested in winning prizes, check us out on our Facebook page at facebook.com/World Senior Games. Here's our inspirational thought for the day. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow.
Amen.
Until next Thursday, stay active.
Bye, everyone.
Joy.